Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Virtual Vino with DMV Distributing. Devan in the background here. We have up on screen the 4 amazing wines that we're going to be drinking this evening with you all. We have 2 amazing French wines from Chateau Saint Nabor that we're going to be drinking first, along with our special guest, as well as the Fontella Chianti and the Oak Reserva red blend with my amazing coworker, Austin. So sit back, relax, share this video with your friends, family. We're here to learn about wine this evening, chat a little bit, but most importantly, have some fun with all of you guys. We will be giving away a Line and Dove face mask tonight as well for those of you that are asking questions, leaving comments, sharing the video. Like I said earlier, this is a fun video for you all to just learn. And Bryce, once again, we're so pleased to have you. Bryce Gillespie from Marquee Selections is with us, hailing from Oregon now. And Austin, my awesome coworker, as well, here to hang out with us, drink some great wine, and I mean, you know, just learn it a little bit this evening. What better things to do on a Friday night with some friends, you know?
Right? Especially in the times that we're in. Come on, you know?
Exactly. That's the best thing to do. You know, I think that, Bryce, this is not your first time on Virtual Vino. I think this third or fourth.
I want to say this is my 4th time,
but
I've definitely creeped in the background on a number of others as well. So you and I definitely old hands at this. It's great to be doing it with Austin now. I like it.
Absolutely love it. And thanks once again for joining us. I know it's so nice of you to spend, you know, a little bit of your Friday evening with us here with DMV Distributing. You know, one of the greatest things about working with DMV is the fact that we get to meet great people like yourself who really care about wine and really that try to share and bring these awesome products from all around the world that are highly rated, really great wines to drink to everyone. And, you know, these virtual videos really help, especially we can't be in person with you all to, you know, drink the wine and do public tastings now. So these are the next best. And it's also great because, you know, Bryce wouldn't be able to join. He's in Oregon. So it's even better, really.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's great to be here and I love it. And I mean, thank you for giving me the credit, Devan, but I really don't take any credit in this. It's the winemakers, it's the brands, it's the family-owned estates that have been around for generations. And like, honestly, you'll introduce a little bit of Jeremy now from Chateau Saint Nabor, but he does all the hard work and then he sends the wine over to us and I just get to jet around the country and like claiming all the credit for it. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, you know, it's really not a bad gig.
No, you can't go wrong with that. No.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Bryce, before we start talking about our first 2 wines from Chateau Saint Nabor, can you tell everyone a little bit about Marquee Selections? Because I think it's really interesting. And I actually try and talk to my stores, my restaurants, bars, even, you know, the public when I'm doing live tastings about how we acquire the wines that we personally, you know, are selling. So a little bit about Marquee Selections and how you actually select the wines to bring.
Sure. Marquee is a tiny little family-owned business that imports wine from literally around the world. And it was started almost 20 years ago now by a few gentlemen who just really, really liked wine. And they wanted to bring in stuff that wasn't readily available in the US. And I mean, when we're talking about 20 years ago, there wasn't as vast a selection as there is now. So they kind of got chatting with a whole bunch of people and they went and they flew around the world. They tasted some wines. They met with winemakers and they found all these like really, really great hidden gems. And over the years, we've added to our portfolio just through building up relationships and chatting with winemakers and chatting with the owners and tasting their wines and falling in love, not only with the quality of the wines, but with the stories that they have that they're able to tell and share with people. So by doing that, we've built up a portfolio of currently 6 wineries that we bring in. I believe you guys carry all of them, a number of wines from all of them as well, which is great to see in the DC and Maryland area. And my awesome role, as I mentioned now, is that I get to chat with these guys on a weekly basis. I get to taste their wines on a weekly basis. And I just get to we serve as the gateway for them to sell their products in the US. The US has a pretty strict what people will call the 3-tier system, where it has to come through an importer and then go through a wholesaler, which would be DMV, into the retail shops, which would be the guys that are linked here to this chat right now, and then into the consumer's glass on the table. So we really facilitate a channel to enable guys like the Costa family who own Chateau Saint Nabor, the wines we're going to taste now, the ability to sell their wines in the US and give their wines to people who wouldn't ordinarily be able to get them when you're not able to jet over to France every second weekend.
That was an absolutely great description, Bryce. Exactly. So as we're tasting these two first wines, everyone, just close your eyes, enjoy, relax, drink these wines, and really teleport to France. You know, I think that that's what it's all about, is the fact that, you know, obviously, one, we're not allowed to travel anywhere now anyhow, so you can really just teleport yourselves, drink this high quality, 6th generation family owned winery. Super great, guys. Absolutely love Jeremy. He's been on with us a couple times. I know we're about to share a video with him as well that he made especially for you all joining us this evening, as well as Raphael, his brother. So 6 generations of that family that have really kept that winery going. And I mean, the level and quality of wine is outstanding. So I was really impressed the first time that I met you, Bryce, just bringing that into DMV. And I love selling it. And I think that it's one that, if you guys see it in your stores, or if you don't, please remember, any time that you're in your favorite local liquor store. I told you last week, I always went down to JJ's Corner store and I was like, hey guys, I found this great wine. You should bring this in. And even before I sold wine for a living. So don't be afraid to do that. If you find a great wine, you hear about it from us, tell them to contact DMV and we'll make sure they get those great wines too.
Exactly.
So before we can move on to Chateau Saint Nabor, everyone pour yourself a glass if you have it with you of the Côte de Rhône Blanc. Absolutely fantastic wine. We're going to go over it in just a few minutes, but we are going to play a short clip from their winemaker, Jeremy, as well. And cheers, everyone watching. I see Monica. Hi, Angela. Anna, cheers. Hi, Stephen. I'm sorry that you're still working this evening, but I'm glad that you're watching. I'll be in to see you soon, bud. All right. So here's a video. We did separate Jeremy's video into 2, so we're going to play just a brief overview of the winery. He made it right in their cellar. They're mid-harvest right now, so super busy. I believe they actually just wrapped up, but they're all pretty much zombies still at this point, so just trying to get through it and clean everything up. So without further ado, here's Jeremy, and then we'll be back with an overview of the wine.
Hello everyone, I'm Jeremy Castor from Chateau Saint Nabor. I'm very sorry I cannot be with you tonight, but I really wanted to participate, so here is my video. Welcome in our cellar. This year harvest just finished about 10 days ago. We started around the 26th of August, so that makes about 4 weeks of full-time harvest. We are still a little bit tired. There is some work left to be done in the cellar, but we are very happy with this harvest. The quality was great. Unfortunately, the quantity is a little bit short this year. We had frost in the spring and some drought in the summer. So the grapes were nice, we have a nice quality, everything was very clean, a lot of fruit, a nice crispness, unfortunately just like I said, a bit shorter. So the work in the cellar continues. We have a few tanks left full of red grapes that will be shoveled out in a few days. We also have a few tanks of rosé still fermenting, and all the whites are finished. So tonight you're going to taste the 2019 Côte du Rhône White and Chardonnay. I will leave Bryce from Marquee and the DMV team to talk about them because I want to talk to you about the 2020 vintage. So.
All right. So afterwards, we're going to share the next clip of his video. And Jeremy was so great. He actually talks about their 2020 vintages and shows you even unfiltered how they're tasting. And I can't wait to try those as well. So without further ado, Bryce, if you want to give us a little bit of a background about Chateau Saint Nabor as well. And our first wine, the Côte de Rhône Blanc, which already drinking it over here, absolutely loving it. So I hope those of you that are with us also have a glass with you as well.
Yeah, thanks, Devan. If the people watching haven't actually poured themselves a glass yet of it, and you have it, you definitely should, and you'll see exactly what's going on. It's a phenomenal wine. So you saw there in the video, that was Jeremy Coster. He is the 6th generation owner and operator of Chateau Saint Nabor. It's actually him and his brother, Raphael, who handle everything. They run the show. And I mentioned this story to Devan as well early on when we started working with DMV, but it was one of the coolest moments for me when I first started working with Marquee and I was learning about Chateau Saint Nabor, because I found out that it's the two brothers who run the show. So, I mean, you think to yourself, okay, great, there's two brothers, but then there's a whole team of people underneath them who handle the admin and the finance and the vineyards and the cellar work, and they must have about 6 or 7 people in the cellar handling. I mean, you saw in that video, it's not a small cellar. There's a good number of pretty big tanks that go back there that need to be managed, in addition to all the fruit that's coming in during the harvest. But it's literally the two of them. It's Jeremy and Raphael who are doing all this work. They have one intern who helps them out in the cellar during the harvest, and they have a vineyard team who helps them out as well, just in managing the vineyards. But other than that, it's them controlling everything. They took over from their father a few years ago, and it was really their dad who kind of like really stepped things up from the 70s with Chateau Saint Nabor, proving it like a lot more to the quality side of wine production, purchasing a little bit more land, planting a few more vineyards. So they've really, really got a lot of cool stuff going on at the estate. One of them being they've just really very recently renovated their tasting room. Now, I know that doesn't mean much to us as we're not able to travel there just yet, but put it down in your notebooks, make a note. Chateau Saint Nabor, definitely a place to go check out. Beautiful little tasting room, which I'll tell you a bit more about in a little bit further in the video, as well as a really, really, really cool guest house, luxury guest house that they're building right now that I think should be coming online either next year or 2022. So you've got a place to stay and you've got a place to get wine. Your visit to France is sorted. Quickly about the farm, they are 100% estate fruit. So all the wines that you can get from Chateau Saint Nabor are grapes that are grown on their property and bottled on their property. So they don't buy anything in. They control everything from soil to glass, which is really, really cool to see. They are in the southern Rhône, about 45 minutes west of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, which is probably a region that most of the people watching here will know about, and about an hour north of Avignon, which is one of the bigger cities in the southern Rhône Valley. The town that they're in is a little town called Cornillon, and the population, I believe, is not more than 1,000 people. So if you've heard of it, that's fantastic, but chances are you haven't. And it would be a great place to check out outside of Paris and Bordeaux if you ever head to France, and you'll get fantastic wines over there. They produce a range of white wines, rosés, and red wines. And of course, the two that we have today are the Côte de Rhône Blanc and the Chardonnay. So first on the Côte de Rhône Blanc, it's a white wine out of the southern Rhône, which Jeremy will tell you is not a crazy popular thing. White wine production in the southern Rhône only equates to about 6% of everything that they do there. So it really, really is a small amount of focus in the area, but the stuff that they do is phenomenal. And the Côte de Rhône Blanc that you're drinking is a blend of Roussanne, Grenache Blanc, and Ugni Blanc. And I believe the percentages are falling at 80% Roussanne, so it makes up the majority, and then your 20% is built up of the Grenache and the Ugni Blanc. So to get a little bit technical on what those varieties are doing in the blend, the Roussanne is bringing all the kind of like floral characteristics to it, the beautiful, beautiful acidity levels, and the really light freshness. The Grenache and the Ugni Blanc, which are in there in addition to the blend, help to just add a little bit more structure, a little bit more texture to it. So you get this really nice, fresh, acidity-based wine, but it's not quite a Sauvignon Blanc. It's like if you had Sauvignon Blanc on the amplifier and you turned it down to about a 7, and you took a Chardonnay and you raised it to a 2, and you took Pinot Gris and you raised it up to about a 7. You're getting all of those characteristics that are kind of playing a musical melody together. And it just drinks really, really beautiful. Devan, I think you summed up the food pairing on this wine in a previous video perfectly. You would just pair it with the same wine, just more of the same wine. That's really what you want to have with this.
And Bryce, that's exactly what I did with that. You know, the food pairing with this wine, everyone, you can pair it with, if you are going to pair it, fish dishes, oysters. We live in Maryland, Bryce, so of course, any time of year, you're kind of lean with the crab, the oysters, etc. But yeah, honestly, if I'm drinking this wine on a Friday evening, I'm just going to pair it with another glass, and then probably another glass.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think Jeremy's advice on the food pairing is that if you should be totally bold and do it whatever you want to, because if you do it and you like it, then you win. There's nothing wrong with that. You can never be wrong if you like it, which I think is the best way of describing it. Absolutely.
Now, Austin, I know that this is perhaps one of the first times that you have, tried this wine with us as well. How are you thinking taste-wise and, even food pairing? What would you, go with this also?
Taste-wise, it's well balanced, to be honest. I mean, it's not overly acidic, but it makes you want more. So it's like, you hit the nail on the head where it's perfect with seafood and all that, because it will definitely bring out, I feel like, some of the more of the great flavors in it as well. And yeah, I mean, it's like my first time trying it today, and it's surprisingly very mellow. It's not overwhelming.
It's an absolute easy drinker. And what I love about wines from Chateau Saint Nabor is that they are unoaked. Also, both these two are. So me personally, I love an unoaked wine because you get more of the grape taste, the fruitiness, the floralness of it without, I know Jeremy's going to get into it a little bit more in the second half of the video that is, and I'm glad you guys loved his little sneak peek at the, behind the cellar there. But he talks about their decision to not oak their wines. And I absolutely love it. Teach their own. But, this is one of my kind of main points about why I love their wines is the fact that you don't have those extra things and tastes that, your oak barrels really bring to the wines.
Is that like more of a traditional Bryce, like to not oak it? Is that more of a traditional?
No, so it's definitely going to be kind of like a winemaker to winemaker approach from where you go. So the crazy thing was what I really like about this wine, especially when you think of the fact that it's 80% Roussanne based. If you've had a Roussanne blend before or a single varietal Roussanne that's been aged in barrel, it gets this like whole different world going on. It becomes like a lot bigger. There's a lot more sort of spice that comes through, a lot more intensity, and that's purely the barrel that brings it out. So if that's the winemaker style, he's looking for that bigger, rounder, bolder structure, then that's what they'll do. So Jeremy and Raphael's decision to keep it in the tank, and another thing that I think he talks about in the video as well, is they ferment it really cold. It's just to allow the fruit to express its natural character without intervening with any other way, not bringing any barrel, not bringing any heavier structure that you do if you would put it in cement, so it doesn't get that kind of round character to it. You've just got fresh, balanced wine, natural expression of those three varieties, which is beautiful.
No, absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. It's something to be sitting on the beach drinking this, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. It's an easy drinker. So for those of you that have not tried this, if you don't have it at home, it is the Chateau Saint Nabor Côtes Blanc. There we go. We have posted it online as well. We'll repost it for you guys. And remember, especially if you're in Maryland or DC, your stores don't have this. If you ask them, hey, do you have Chateau Saint Nabor? They don't have it. Well, tell them to contact DMV Distributing, because we would love to share these amazing wines in France with you all right here around the DMV area. With that said, this wine is an average price in store for only $14.99. So you are getting an estate-grown, 2-person, 6th generation, fantastic wine for less than $15 in your local stores there. So you can't beat it. Yeah, I mean, you're going to impress anyone and everyone. Date night, friends night, whatever else. Netflix night by yourself on the couch, with some takeout Chinese food. Pair it with it. It's, it's going to make any meal extra special. And you are not going to, be sad that you bought a bottle of this wine. That's for sure.
No, I agree 100% with that. I think the fact that they're able to offer such like great quality wine in such beautiful packaging as well. I mean, we all know with the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but everyone judges books by their covers. And so it is with wine bottles. And these bottles that Chateau Saint Nabor have are beautifully, beautifully embossed with their family logo. It's really is the entire package for a price that's crazy.
Absolutely. And I love the shape of the bottles as well. Now, I have a couple of pictures from the estate that I'll share before we get to our next second clip from Jeremy. This is one from Chateau Saint Nabor here. Oh, let's see here. Let's see if I can get it up. No, I'll share those later. They're kind of we'll see. I'll share the video first. How about that?
This is the 2020 Chardonnay. Very small crop because this was the first tank entered in the cellar. Like I said, we started in 26th of August. This is the earliest grapes ready, and this is the ones that got most affected by the frost. So very low yield, but a lot of concentration. You can see a nice intensity. So just finished, not filtered yet. It's going to rest a few weeks, and we will start filtering them by the end of November, early December. So if I smell it, sorry you cannot, but I will try to give you all the information. So with the Chardonnay this year, we still see all the exotic fruits, nice freshness, and because yields were very low, we have a big concentration, a nice minerality, and a nice fatness from the aging in the tank with the lees a few days after fermentation. So again, in the mouth, we have this nice crispness that jumps right away. And then all the flavors are here. Exotic fruits, the nice white fruits, and we also have some note of little white flowers. That was 2020 Chardonnay. And we continue with 2020 Côte du Rhône White. This is finished blend of Roussanne at 80%, and the 20% left are the Grenache Blanc and Uni Blanc. So here we change completely the flavor profile. We have a bigger finesse. We completely leave the exotic fruits, and we only have white flowers aromas like acacia flowers and a little bit of apricot, but fresh apricot and pears as well. In the mouth, we again have this nice minerality that jumps, and the thicker body that is brought by the Grenache Blanc and Uni Blanc really balance the acidity, and we have a longer lasting in the mouth experience with that. Both of these white, Chardonnay and Côte du Rhône, will stay in tank, stainless steel and fiberglass. They will not be in oak because we do not want to remove all these fresh aromas and bring extra aromas that are not brought by the grape itself. So that will be it for the white. Before I leave you to the 2019 other whites, I want to show you an exclusivity. So this is our Gris de Nabor 2020. My brother and I just blended it this morning, so cannot be fresher than what it is. It's a blend of Grenache, Senso, and a little bit of Tempranillo. So again, this wine will rest a little bit, a few weeks, before it will be filtered and bottled. But here what we have is a lot of fresh little red fruits aromas, a little bit of honeysuckle notes in the nose. Again, this bright intensity jumping out of the glass. Something very clear, very clean. Same thing in the mouth, just all the fruit coming here. Almost like a grape fruit, obviously, but with alcohol. It's a great wine to enjoy on a summer day. You can pair it with barbecue, with salads, pizza, or if you can just want to relax and share it with friends, that will be the perfect partner for your summer night. So I might bring that to you in a few months. Before I see you, I want to finish with the cellar. So like I said, the cellar work continues. And my brother Raphael is back in the vines, taking care of the vineyards before winter starts and before the cutting the shoots starts. So again, cheers. I hope you have a very good virtual Vino tonight. Take care of you and see you in real in a few months. Cheers.
Cheers, Jeremy. What a great video. And it really makes me want to visit France like yesterday.
It's such a cool video. He's such a great guy. I mean, so when you're dealing with wines that are made by people like that, I mean, it's not work. You're just like, you're helping them sell their passion, sell their livelihood, and it makes everything such a treat to do.
Absolutely. I mean, it would also be one thing if it wasn't as good as it is, but it's fantastic. I'm a realist, everyone. It is high quality, fantastic wine. So really treat yourself. And like I said, the prices for all of their wines are outstanding, to even all the steps that you have to go through to import here into the States. And we can sell them for less than $15 in the stores. Fantastic. So go out, get yourself some wine. Our next wine that we're going to be drinking, like Jeremy mentioned, is the 2019 Chardonnay from Chateau Saint Nabor. So I know Bryce is going to go over a little bit about that. And one thing I'll mention once again is that it is unoaked. It is made in their fiberglass stainless steel tanks that you saw there in their cellar. And that's one of the things that I love about it. It's really crisp, very refreshing. And if you're a pineapple juice lover like I am, I think that you'll really enjoy this Chardonnay. So Bryce is going to go over a little bit more about it and let us know if you have it with you, what you guys think too.
Yeah, so Chardonnay out of the Southern Rhône it's not something that you see all the time. It would be described, I guess, as a rarity. So Jeremy and Raphael are one of the few people who are working with it in the area. And as he mentioned in the video, and you said, Devan, as well, it's not made in woods, 100% stainless steel in the fiberglass tanks. So again, you're getting a really, really fresh representation of what the grape can do. Now, you heard him mention that they leave it on the lees. If you don't know what the lees are, it's kind of just like the sediment and the particles that are from the grape skins, from the seeds that are the particles that form during the fermentation and kind of solidify. You saw his glass wasn't exactly clear when he was swirling it. That's because, like you said, it hasn't been filtered and it hasn't settled. So when you let the juice sit on that, and every now and then you give it a little bit of a stir or a batonnage, as they would call it in France, you just help to get some of that extra character into the juice, a little bit into the wine. It helps give it a little bit more substance and a little bit more of a mouthfeel than you would get on the Côte de Rhône Blanc. So as he mentioned in the video, they'll let it settle for a few weeks. So it'll just sit in the tank nice and cold, and slowly but surely that kind of like those particles will settle down right to the bottom of the tank. Then they'll rack it off. So they'll pump the juice off and they'll put it into another holding tank just before bottling. And they'll put it through a filter before it gets in the bottle as well. So that's why the juice becomes super clear compared to what you saw it over there. And again, just retaining that super, super fresh, crisp aromatics, the flavor structure of the wine without imparting any kind of overly intense barrel characteristics to it. Another thing, for those of you who are interested in kind of the little more technical side of the things, they do not let their Chardonnay or any of their whites, as a matter of fact, go through malolactic fermentation. Malolactic fermentation being a little bit of a secondary fermentation that would soften up the palate a little bit more, kind of almost give you that kind of buttery characteristic that some of you might be used to on Chardonnays. They don't do that. Again, just adding to that freshness and the crispness on the wine. When it comes to their farming, you heard him mention that they fought with frost a little bit this year, so the yields are down. The really cool thing that I like about Chateau Saint Nabor is they are all about sustainability in how they handle their vineyards and their farming, and just being responsible environmentalists. So they are not pumping any water from anywhere. They're not irrigating their vines. So they do dry farming, which already kind of like really lowers their yield and what they're able to get out. So they have really kind of rocky, soily substrate for the vines to grow in. So the vines really have to work to find nutrients and energy. They're not just being readily provided by the winemakers. And what that happens, or what that does when you plant and you farm like that, the vines are putting a lot of energy into producing really, really fruit concentrated grapes. So while they may not be producing a whole lot of grape bunches on the vines, the few that they do are packing a lot of flavor in them. So that's what Jeremy and Raphael are able to work with. and how they're able to bring such really great quality wines into the bottle here while still keeping that freshness, that crispness, that kind of grape unique characteristic to each one in the bottle that you're tasting now.
That's, I absolutely love how they produce their wines. I think it's so special as well. And also, like you mentioned earlier, they're fairly unique wines in, the Rhône Valley of France. So I think that makes them even more special and really great to drink. Austin, as well, what are you thinking about the Chardonnay? I know that once we first hopped on, even before we went live earlier, Austin was already yelling about how great, and how much he was enjoying the Chardonnay.
Yeah, no, the Chardonnay is delicious. I mean, how we explained about with the lees and all that, and the malolactic acid, it's a lot more crisper than I'm used to, which I like a lot better.
With the Chardonnay.
Yes, with more of like, it doesn't have like the heavier mouth feel that I do not really like in a way. Just, I don't know, it doesn't hit me right. This one's almost like, it's not a seltzer, but it's kind of in that sense in a way where it gives that kind of acidity where it does make you want it more, and it has that kind of crispness to it where, I mean, it's delicious. I can't stop drinking, to be honest. I actually might be almost done with it. Yeah, it's delicious. I'm not a huge fan of Chardonnays, but this one's good. I recommend if you have not really dove into Chardonnays, or if you have and you don't like them, you got to try this because it will change your whole perspective on Chardonnays.
Absolutely. I have more than once, taken this to bars, restaurants, stores, to a friend's house for dinner. And, even those ABC people, anything but Chardonnay, and been like, no. I used to be you. Try this Chardonnay. Yeah. And they absolutely love it. I think you'll find a lot of exotic fruit characteristics to this Chardonnay that are really unique, as well as if you're a banana or pineapple person, that's something like that. The Chardonnay it's very complex, but it's also very crisp, super easy to drink, and definitely a unique and really a wine to show off to people that they're not going to expect this. No. And you also have a great packaging. Like Bryce mentioned earlier, the packaging of this wine is fantastic. People will be impressed already with the wine, even just with the unique bottle, with their fantastic, very ornate labels, the family crest on the bottles as well. And then, this fantastic wine inside. So do yourself a favor. When you go out to the stores to try these wines, don't buy just one bottle, buy two. The average price for the Chardonnay is only $12.99 in stores around Maryland or DC. So, even a few dollars cheaper somehow than the Côte Blanc. So think to yourself, okay, let me just get at least a bottle of each or 2 bottles of each. That way you have them, share with your friends, and they'll be back for more, because this wine is absolutely fantastic, guys. And I can't wait to even, share it with more of my friends. And this is an all year drinking wine. The Chardonnay is great all year round, hands down.
I mean, I would say he chose the right decision not to age it in oak. It's
yeah.
Like I said, like I said before, with the other one, you could drink this on the beach as well. It's got that nice, crisp, tropical flavor to it. It's very enjoyable. Inviting, I would say. That's the word I'm thinking of, inviting.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Bryce, we know where Austin wants to go. Apparently the beach. He's going to surf and drink Chardonnay on this board.
That sounds pretty great to me. Yeah, I mean, Austin, you nailed it on the head there. Like if you're generally not a fan of Chardonnay, this is the perfect gateway to it. I mean, it's just a beautiful wine. Before you guys boot me off to move on to the next ones, I want to tell you guys just the story of the name. I love the story. It's fascinating, and it ties into what I mentioned earlier about the tasting room that they have on the estate. So Saint Nabor was actually one of the Knights Templar back in the 11th century. And on a return journey from Northern Africa, when they were kind of heading up north, the Rhône back in the day was actually a highway during the kind of Roman Empire time. He was walking with his caravan of camels. And the decision along the way was that when the first camel at the head of the caravan, who was carrying a representation of Christ's cross, when that camel either stopped or died, that would be the place that they would kind of set up a new town. And true as it can be, this camel died on what is today known as Saint Nabor, which is a little rocky outcrop in the middle of this town of Cornillon. And it's where the farm is established today. And they built a church in the 11th century that is still there at the moment. And it actually houses their tasting room. So when you go and taste wines at the chateau, you're tasting in an estate that's been producing wine for 6 generations. But not only that, you're drinking in a cathedral or church that is built in the 11th century. How many things in the world can you say like go back that long that are still actually in some kind of recognizable form? That for me is unbelievable. And what I learned from Jeremy in addition to that is there's a little town just further north of Cornillon, which is actually called Nabor. And the doors on houses and shops in this little town actually have ornate camels kind of carved into them. So this story is not just nonsense. Like these people actually have this kind of thing built in, so much ingrained into their memory and their history and their stories that they've gone and put it on their doors. Which I think is phenomenal. It's really, really cool.
That is a great story. Bryce, I never knew that. That is fantastic. Yeah. Well, see, now I can share that with people as well. So, Austin, if you ever hear that again, I know where the names come from. Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
It's the castle of Saint Nabor, Chateau Saint Nabor. There you go.
That's awesome.
I love it. Now, everyone, before we let Bryce go, please let us know if you have any comments, questions for him. Bryce, as always, such an amazing special guest with us. Thank you so much for sharing, especially that great story about Chateau Saint Nabor. I know Bryce is also going to be on next Friday at 7 p.m. with the owner of DMV Distributing, Alan Emery, to go over 4 great wines that Marquee Selections sells with us all around the DMV area as well. So before he goes, let us know if you have any questions, comments. I'm seeing a lot of great comments over here for you, Bryce. Look at that.
Yeah, I see they want the camel on the label.
No crazy, yes. No crazy, we don't go back that many thousand years here in the States. So, exactly. Such a rich history, legacy, indefinitely. Thanks for sharing, Bryce. That's so fantastic. So once we can travel again, add Chateau Saint Nabor to your bucket list in France.
Cool.
I will definitely be visiting. I know that he plans on visiting the States here as well. So I will definitely come around Maryland.
I have an email in my inbox from Jeremy this week. I know Jeremy's going to be watching this, so I apologize for not replying to it yet, but he is already talking about his visit next year. He's asking which states we should put on the list, who he wants to focus on, and you guys are number 1. He's coming to see you. I know he loves you guys. Devan, he's such a fan of yours. I think he actually, like me, he watches and creeps behind the scenes on some of these virtual vinos on Friday, like just checking out what's going on. And I know that he's really excited to meet all of you. And of course, like I said, with the taste room and the guest house that they have, that they're currently building on the estate, anyone from Maryland, from DC, anyone of the DMV family and team, you guys are always welcome there. Absolutely.
Oh, well, we absolutely love that. And we will definitely be there to visit. And hopefully when we visit, you can also go along, Bryce. So we really appreciate that. Well, thank you.
That's an underscoring, component of it. Yeah. If I don't go, no one's going.
That's what I was going to say. If DMV's going, I'm also going. So me being you, Bryce. So yeah, we will definitely bring you along. I'm sure that we'll get in tons of trouble throughout the vineyard, sharing videos, pictures, enjoying their fantastic wines. So, thank you so much, Bryce. Once again, we know you have a fantastic wedding to go to this weekend. So cheers and enjoy. I hope that perhaps you took some Chateau Saint Nabor along to share with the happy couple. Tell them congrats from us here at DMV.
I will do. Thank you so much for hosting me again. It's great to be here. Absolutely. And I'm really excited for next week.
Thank you, Bryce. I will pass the word along to the boss, and I know that he's excited to spend next Friday with you as well. So cheers, and cool. I'll catch clips from next Friday too. I'll be the creeper in the background next Friday. All right, Bryce.
All right. Cheers, Devan. Cheers, Austin. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Cheers.
That was awesome.
I learned so much every time from Bryce. He just surprises me with new things about any other products that Marquee Selections brings us. I really love that they really take the time to find these fantastic high quality vineyards from all around the world to bring here to the States. And honestly, if you find anything about this quality, especially from the Rhône Valley that's from France, you're not going to find it for this price in your stores. It's going to be double. You'll walk away. You won't try it. But we have these really great wines that honestly should cost double. And you can find them for less than $15 in your stores. So definitely go out to your local stores, support Chateau Saint Nabor, fantastic French wines. And, you know, then obviously next year you can see really fun pictures and videos of all of us, hopefully at their vineyard. Once we can visit again. Yeah, Bryce will be back on next Friday, so save it in your calendars here on DMV Distributing's Facebook page and or YouTube. We have 4 really great, fantastic, amazing wines there as well. If you see those wines right there, also, if you don't find them in any of your favorite liquor stores, let them know by the end of this weekend, Monday, so that they can bring them in for you guys to have to join both Alan Emery and Bryce next Friday as well to talk about some. So, Austin, we're going to move on to our reds now. We're going to kind of fly out of France now, and I guess we're heading on over to Italy. Okay. So we have a really fantastic, highly rated Chianti for you all. Austin's going to tell you a little bit about it. We're going to get to drinking it. And remember, keep giving us comments, ask us questions. After this wine, we'll be giving away to a random viewer that has commented, asked questions, a really fantastic Lion and Dove face mask. So I love mine, and I wear it every day. So cheers. Let's learn about some Chianti, Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, if you guys don't know me, I'm actually new to wine. I've started in March. I'm learning as I go. So I think this is my second time maybe on this. But
it's your
third time? Okay, third time. But we'll be talking about the Chianti today, Fontella Chianti. And the one thing I've actually kind of want to explain a bit more into is about the labeling and all too, just because what I've been learning about through my time with wines itself. The Fontella is actually more of the brand itself, and Chianti is where, the region. That it's kind of interesting just because when I first kind of, go into the stores and see wines and all that, it's kind of confusing. And that's why I kind of want to come in and explain a little bit more to you about the labeling and stuff, and how Chianti is actually, like I said before, is the region. You have a bunch of regions or a bunch of places in Italy, such as you have Florence, which is in the north of Italy, and you have Siena, is in the south of Italy, and then we have Arezzo, is in the east of Italy, and you have Pisa, is in the west of Italy, and they are all very known for Chianti wines. And what's really cool is they all represent the best winemaking tradition of classic Italian wines. So if you see a lot of that on the labels itself, you would know that it's classic Italian wines. And then one of the biggest parts is when you see the DOCG on the wines, it actually explains a little bit more into the labels where it actually has more of a higher level of quality classification that was actually presented in 1984, and it's pronounced as, I've been trying to speak this a little bit more, it's called Denominazione di Origine Controllata e Garantia, and that actually kind of presents more of like the quality of a wine it is. It's a higher quality, and in order for it to get that kind of label, it's got to have at least 70% of Sangiovese, which is a grape that's very well known in Chianti, and then the max of 10% of white grapes. And then if you actually see Superiore, which is a wine that is made with a lower yield, and then you have Reserva on the label, which are wines that are aged for at least 2 years before it was released, which I think is really cool, just because before I started learning about wines, like I said before, it's a little confusing. So I'm starting a little bit learning more about it. So then you actually start understanding what you're going to really get more about these wines. And as you can tell on the label itself, it's got 91 points from James Suckling, and it also was recognized in the Washington Post. It got excellent and great value, and that's what we're all about with DMV. We offer great value wines with a great price, and great quality. And the good thing about Chianti, it's actually very bright and delicious. It's fruity, fruit forward. You don't have too much tannins. It says you got chewy tannins to it as well, but it's, to me, you know what, it's things to let it open up a little bit. It gets a little softened. You get some spices to it as well, some bark undertones, medium body. I think it's very delicious in my sense. You do not want to let it sit out too long, to be honest. You want to drink it quick, like maybe a couple of days. So, I mean, what do you think of it, Devan?
Definitely. Austin, that was such a great description. That definitely was very educational about Chianti. Honestly, when my wine experience, I first started working for a local vineyard because I always loved wine. So at that vineyard, I did just about everything. But of course, we didn't grow what I thought Chianti was, just a grape varietal, to be honest.
I thought it was,
all those memes on the internet where they're like, I'm today years old when I learned this. And I just remember going, oh, that's not a grape.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's one thing I'm learning a lot about with the labels itself, especially more of like the French and all that. They don't really explain to you on the front side of it the grapes.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know the region and all that to understand what the grapes are put into it. It's almost like a secret code, which I think is really cool. And it makes me more fascinated about it. It makes me want to learn more into it. So it makes me get into more of the soil, which I did not explain about before, where what they're known for is a lot of the clay and Albarese soil, which is a hard sandstone, in Italy, and in the region itself, a lot of that it has a huge effect on the flavors of the grapes. For example, the stone itself, it actually captures the light from the sun and it keeps it warm. So when the stones are warm, it kind of helps ripen up the grapes a little bit more. So you get more of a riper grape. You get more of the juiciness, more of the fruitiness of the grapes itself, which is interesting.
Definitely. And I think that especially the Fontella Chianti, and I will be the first to say, it is one of my most reordered wines in any stores, restaurants, bars that I have. One, you have a fantastic, easy to find label in a store. I love their really fun teal label. But this wine, like you said, highly rated wine, fantastic. Average price is only $11.99. So for less than $12, you can take this home to pair with really a great range of dishes. Chianti is one of those wines where you think, okay, this is the wine that if I am having a fantastic Italian spaghetti night, if I'm having, well, I'm not going to bring Silence of the Lambs back into this like I did once, but if I'm, just having these really rich, fatty dishes, it pairs so elegantly with those. It's really complements them. It makes the wine even easier to drink than it already is. And it makes your food taste even better when you pair it with it. So for those of you spaghetti lovers, Italian dish lovers, pizza, the Florentina with some olive oil on it, really pasta and pizza though. This Chianti is absolutely amazing and doesn't break the bank. You're getting it for less than $12 on average around Maryland or DC, and you are absolutely going to love it. I think that the best thing about this wine is that, like you mentioned, the grapes and the wine itself taste very fresh. They're really fresh. Has that nice ripe berry aroma to it, a little bit of a cherry flavor. So to be honest,
as well, they say I've been tasting with some customers. They say they get some sour plum, so it's it hits that kind of taste bud in a way. It makes you want more.
Definitely. So for all of you, you have a date night coming up, you have, your holidays coming up with family, look no further than the Fontella Chianti.
And you can't miss
Definitely get more than one bottle. Like I always say, if you're going to a friend's house, at least get two, because that one's going to disappear very quickly. It's fantastic. And you'll need a second.
You can't miss it on the shelf either. I mean, with my experience going through Italian wines, the label itself sells it. a lot of it don't. I mean, I haven't really seen much of a label that has like that. Like you said, teal or bluish color to it. You can't miss it. You cannot miss it. It stands out.
It really does. It's fantastic marketing from them for great wine, a great quality, fantastic price. You know, especially we've talked about our neckers before as well that are on your bottles. Any of those that have been featured on Virtual Vino, it has the directions on how you can, you know, rewatch our videos as well. If your friends and family are looking for a special bottle of wine, especially think about the holidays are coming up. So we have October, you know, our Halloween wines coming up, everything like that. So be on the lookout for, you know, our Halloween special episodes, etc. But look at all of our neckers there. So, you know, those are on the bottle for a reason. They're to show that, okay, you can come back on our Facebook page on DMV Distributing and learn more about those wines. And you can always ask us as well. A lot of us have Instagrams. You can write the DMV Facebook page as well. Hey, you know, I know that this is one of your wines. Tell me more about it. Or if you don't know where to find these wines, please always give us a call, write us a message, and we'll let you know.
And I did one thing, though, I didn't say, is that it was aged for 3 months in a large Slovenian oak barrels. That's actually interesting because I was doing some research about it. Usually those kind of barrels are bigger because they're supposed to impart more subtle flavors and soften the tannins, which is why you don't get that kind of strong bitterness to it, which they were right on with so you have some light tannins to it in a way. It's not overwhelming.
Exactly. All right. So for those of you watching, let us know if you have any questions about the Fontello Chianti. Do you have any questions? Do you? You don't? He doesn't. He just wanted to hang. That's cool. He's hanging up there with the last wine of the evening. But if you have questions, comments, let us know. I'm going to scroll through here. We're going to pick out our winner of the Lion and Dove mask here. My random selection. Let me put it in my app here. Austin, do you wear your Lion and Dove mask every day? I sure do. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very breathable, and I love that it. I can adjust it.
Very presentable, I would say.
Exactly. All right. Okay, looks like the winner of the Lion and Dove face mask, Anna.
Congratulations.
Oh, wait. Well, that was a good comment. Thank you. Cheers. Who isn't a fan? That's right. I did not pick you as a winner because of that, but thank you. So DM us your address so that we can send you out your fantastic Lion and Dove face mask. Make sure that you represent and wear it when you cannot be 6 feet apart from everyone. So congrats and cheers. Thanks for joining us once again here on Virtual Vino with DMV. So Austin, we do have our fourth and final wine of the evening. One of my favorites, and it was actually a newer wine. We released it and got it right after I started with DMV, and I was really excited about it. Absolutely love Portuguese wines, and I love the tradition of the cork in Portugal, which a lot of people don't know about as well. So I know that we do have some things to share as well from even the cork trees in Portugal.
Yeah,
with some fantastic pictures here that we will share also.
Okay, well, yeah. So we have the Silent Oak from Portugal. It's actually from Tejo, Portugal. A Silent Oak produced by Fiuza in Tejo, Portugal, a century-old family-run company who is making a name for itself by making high-rated wines, combining indigenous Portuguese wines, or not Portuguese wine, Portuguese grapes. And it is said, I've actually been doing some little bit of research on it a little bit in a way where it's actually kind of cool, where they said during the harvesting time that you can hear local women singing traditional songs, folk songs on the Appalachians while they handpick the grapes, which I think is really cool. And the vineyards, I think I have a picture that I sent that actually shows where the Tejo River itself. Do you have that?
There you go.
There it is. Perfect. The one thing I want to explain about this is because with the Appalachian itself, you see that it's on a hill. or the slope, I should say. And that's actually a crucial part in when they're growing the grapes, because when it's very sunny out, the heat, of course, rises. And so that helps kind of ripen up the grapes. So during that time, the grapes ripen up, like I said, and and then during the night itself, it cools down. So it all balances each other's out with the ripeness and then the acidity. So this wine itself has a nice balance to it, as you can kind of taste into it. And then what I said, the relevance of the Silent Oak tribute. All right. Well, I'm going a little bit off to it. I should go straight to the Silent Oak label, to be honest. The Silent Oak is kind of pretty cool, how Devan was talking about earlier with the cork, because they're actually very known for the trees. The trees, over time, the bark gets very spongy, so they start peeling off the bark, and that's where they actually use the bark to make the corks, and it's, as you see right there, and they peel it every 10 years, allowing the trees to rejuvenate until the next harvest. It is said that the bark is at the highest quality after the second or third harvest, which is about 25 years, which kind of shows quality itself in the bark of the bark in the cork, which is pretty cool. And I had like an interesting fact with the trees, where it's usually the trees are 234 years old trees, and they're 16 meters, which is 52 feet tall, which they're massive trees. So you can only imagine how much bark they get from those trees. And then going down to with the wine itself, the grapes that are blended in this are Touriga Nacional, which I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with. That's actually a very well-known grape in Portugal that they love to blend with. And then you have Alicante Bouchette. And as you can tell with the label, you got 90 points from Wine Enthusiast. So it definitely shows that, it's definitely got some quality to it. But yeah. And then going to the flavor, it's a full body, has hints of spice, chocolate, and mint, along with well-balanced tannins. And then if you can tell in the bottle itself, you have that word Reserva. It has been aged in the barrel for at least 2 years, and then 1 year in the bottle, which I actually a very big person with aging itself, because I love getting that kind of oaky vanilla flavor. But this is actually not very overwhelming. It actually helps soften the tannins, because I'm not a huge person with overwhelming tannins. But then you also go into with the food pairings. You can pair it well with roasted meats, rich pasta sauces, or barbecue steaks. So it's almost like kind of like a wine you can drink all year round.
Exactly. This was honestly one of my go-tos this summer, Austin. I think that this is one. We had a question up here that was about, what temperature would you actually serve these wines at? Definitely like a low 60-degree temperature. I
wouldn't mind having a little small, like chilled.
Approachable. Exactly. Like I said, your house temperature is around 70 usually. So you really want to, kind of chill it a little bit. Don't be afraid to chill your reds.
Having it warm could maybe have a little bit of off flavor to it that I'm learning. So yeah, chilling it a little bit. Maybe
a good year-round wine for sure. And like you mentioned, this was one of my favorites in the summer, especially because it does pair really well. That entire red blend that this wine has pairs great with barbecue. So even your short ribs or your, burgers, etc. on your barbecue, fantastic wine to pair with that. And everybody always goes towards beer, which, to be honest, beer is very hard to pair with things, everyone. Your wine, it's the wine that's going to make the wine taste even better if that's, doable. But it also really accompanies your food, and it really makes your food taste better as well. Anytime you're making food, or if you're not making food, to enjoy some vino. So, that's always a good thing to think about. And remember, don't be afraid to chill your reds, because as long as you don't freeze them, they'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But Don't be afraid to chill your wines. I'm saying it's the one thing I've been learning about red wines. It's you don't have to drink them warm. You can chill them a little bit to open up the flavor a little bit. You know, some of the when it's really warm, you can get some off flavors that you may not like. So.
So yeah, now for those of you that are wondering how to find all 4 of these wines, or any of the wines that we feature here on Virtual Vino, you can find them around Maryland or DC. If you have a store that is your favorite staple store when you're on the way home from work and they don't have these wines, just ask them to contact DMV Distributing. We would be more than happy, you know, to share our love of wine with that store, and especially with you, and getting you great wines for a great price. That's what we're all about. That's why we spend every Friday here with you speaking about, you know, at least 4 amazing wines. And we definitely had a really great selection tonight, Austin. I know I'm heading up to Deep Creek this weekend, and I'm definitely going to take my bottles along to share with some friends up there. And I know I'll probably have to fight them for a few because they're all, you know, great wines.
Well, as a there, I mean, it's considering the times as it is, not everyone gets to know what we're drinking, you know, so you got to spread the love a little bit.
Exactly. Why not? It's 2020. You have to spread the love when you can, Austin. I totally agree with that. Well, if you guys have any questions or comments about any of the 4 wines that we featured this evening, Austin, I just want to give you a shout out. I learned a lot of things from both of the wines that you featured tonight, the Fontella Chianti as well as the Silent Oak. Some really new things that I know that I'll share with people, and I'm so proud of you. And thank you so much for, you know, doing the great research there. I know we had some really great comments over there of people that also appreciated that. So, you know, here we have on screen. If you do live outside of Maryland or DC, please contact Paul's Wine in DC. They carry most of our wine. And if they don't, just, you know, bug them about it, make them carry it and ship it to you guys. So those legal states that they can ship to, they would be more than happy to do so. Silent Oak Reserva, an absolute delicious red blend from Portugal. You don't want to miss out on it. And this is going to be one of those really go-to fall wines. That and the Chianti, Austin, fantastic holiday wines. The Chateau Saint Nabor Chardonnay as well. That's a fantastic go-to wine as well. Really perfect Thanksgiving wines, if you would. Yeah, that's really the next big wine drinking holiday, I think. But in my opinion, Halloween is too, so.
Every holiday is.
Every day is.
It's a good reason for you to try some new wines too, you know? Bring some wines to your family and friends to try.
Exactly. Really every day, though. Let's be honest. That's why we're all here. Well, the Silent Oak Reserva, available in store, everyone. It's a 90-point rated wine by Wine Enthusiast. Average price of only $12.99 in store. So go do yourself a favor. Find a bottle. Try it out. You'll absolutely love it. That's one of those wines that even if you like sweeter, dry wine, if you're making dinner, you're having friends over, it's one to really, really show off to friends. And it's still near that $10 mark for you guys. So it's a great gem for us to bring to you straight from Portugal for you guys to enjoy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's one thing that you guys, you know, understand when we're doing all this is a lot of our wines, or all of them, great value, great quality. It's huge. It's the one thing I love about some of our wines. It's absolutely amazing, and I've shocked a lot of bunch of my friends and family about it, and yeah, it's a steal. It's absolutely a steal. Like, you don't have to spend a ton of money on good wines. You really don't.
Nope. Just find the ones that DMV sells to you guys, and you can't go wrong.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, that concludes our video for this evening. If you have any questions, please private message us on DMV Distributing's Facebook page. If you have any questions about the wines, if you want to know where to buy them as well, we want to thank Liquor Locker in Hagerstown, Maryland for carrying all 4 of the wines available this week. They're a great store, and always enjoy visiting those guys. Now, next week, I'm actually going to be on a mini vacation down in Georgia. So we actually have the owner of DMV Distributing, Alan Emery. He's going to be joined by Bryce Gillespie, who is our special guest this evening from Marquee Selections. They're going to be talking about 4 amazing wines as well. And the 4 wines that they're talking about next week, Austin, are absolute gems to have over here in the States. So we'll post those 4 wines. Please RSVP to that event, share it with your friends, go out, find all 4 of those wines. Even if you can find 1 or 2, trust me, you will not miss out. They are absolutely fantastic, really great wines. I know we also have a fantastic Chianti next week that you really don't want to miss out on. If you love the Fontella, definitely try that one as well. So we will be posting all of those for you. Just remember, comment, ask us questions anytime. There it is on screen, the 4 wines that we're going to be showcasing next Friday. You will see me back here on October 23rd. We have a really great Halloween setup for you all as well. So please like us, follow us on Facebook, Instagram at DMV Dist. And we have some really fun events for you guys coming up. So until then, drink some vino safely with your friends, masks on, 6 feet apart. Cheers.
And have fun.
And especially have fun, Austin. And drink it wine.